What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting Art of War review. We are here. It's a beautiful morning, and we are ready. A golden light has dawned across the universe. The Custodes are back.
My favorite faction. I've always loved them. Play them every time.
Absolutely. Longtime Custodes player Quentin Johnson joining me here to talk about the new article that Games Workshop just put up on the Warhammer community website. So, we're going to be talking about the new 10th edition rules for the Adeptus Custodes. If you like this video and want to see more of our content, make sure that you like this video. Then please subscribe to the channel. That way you're going to get notified every time we go live with a new piece of 10th edition content. Alright, hopefully everyone in the chat is excited as I am, to talk about Custodes. So let's dive right into this article. Starting off, they're just gonna talk to us a little bit, tell us a little bit about Custodes, but we already all know the fluff. That's why we're here. We're already excited about Custodes.
The fluff is really cool.
The fluff is pretty
really cool.
I gotta say, I do like the Custodes fluff. I like just being better than people.
I know.
It appeals to me.
I own a lot of the codexes, so I can read them, and the Custodes one is the one I come back to every time I want to feel like epic.
Yeah. Custodes, even the books, they got you. So, no rules yet. Sometimes they put little snippets in, like, the opening fluff, but no rules here. What they do give us, however, is the martial katas. So, another edition of us saying martial karate every time I have to explain what this rule is to an opponent. But they have given us martial katas a little bit simplified, as you'd kind of expect.
I love this change. I love the kata rule, but it was kind of a pain. When I took them to LVO, I remember I just kind of ignored them half the time because they would be like, well, this is not the one kata I need right now, so it doesn't actually do anything. And then sometimes it'd be super important, so it's just kind of weird, and I like that you're a lot more flexible now.
Yeah, this does feel like it's more just across the board passively useful. So the way that martial katas work is it's no longer a battle round or command phase choice. Instead, at the start of the fight phase, select one kata stance from the list below to be active for your army until the end of the phase. Okay? So while it's active, each unit. So you don't get to choose unit by unit unless there's some kind of unseen rules. But just pick one, it applies to your army. So we've got Captaris, Dakatari, and Rendax, which is good because those were three of the names I could already remember. So Captaris. Each time a melee attack targets this unit, subtract one from the hit roll. Generically useful. If someone charges you, this is a good one for your opponent's fight phase.
Especially if, as I'm assuming, Custodes are pretty tough, an extra -1 to hit can really just be like, no.
Yeah, that's just generically useful. So, Dakatari. Melee weapons equipped by this unit have sustained hits 1 ability, so we've already covered sustained hits 1. We know from the Tyranny preview that just means a 6 to hit or a critical hit is going to give you an extra hit. Generic, good volume. Okay, so nice.
Exploding 6s?
Yeah, exploding 6s. Pretty cool. And then finally, Rendax, which is the monster in War Machine Hunters. And yep, lethal hits, a critical hit, auto wounds. Generically good into vehicles, monsters, high toughness things.
I really like that you get to choose at the fight phase.
Yeah, you can really just look.
No, all these are really good since there's less rerolls this edition. You know, it'll help you go a long way.
Theoretically. So, yeah, just 3 generically good options. You got 1 for defense, 2 for offense. And you can tailor the offense one based on what you're hitting. This just looks like it's useful. So I really like this. I also like that it puts emphasis more on melee for Custodes, where in my mind they should be wrecking people. I like better in melee. You don't need shooting buffs on Custodes. A guardsman can pull a trigger.
Yes.
Custodes wreck people up close. Okay. So they've given us a little bit of a blurb telling us exactly what we already just read, and then they give us the detachment rule. So the shield host is the first detachment for Custodes. We're kind of assuming that in Index Land, every army's getting 1 detachment. I think they've said that. And so this is basically what you get, but maybe when they get a codex, they'll have some more options. So if you're taking a shield host detachment, you get the Aegis of the Emperor. Adeptus Custodes models from your army have the Feel No Pain 4+ ability against mortal wounds.
It's back!
So that's pretty good. As Custodes players, Emperor's Chosen always felt important because you just couldn't afford to get like a squad of shield guard just smited across the table.
Yep, because every army, as you'd say, to reach into their back pocket, pull out the smite, and just goodbye 50-point models.
Yeah. So this is honestly, I'm very happy with this. It feels very Custodes to be like, we're conventionally tough. No, you don't get to get around it like that. Like, I know you thought I was tough, so you were gonna like mortal wound me. Still not good for you. So I'm glad that this made it in some fashion. Aegis of the Emperor is pretty dang good. Now, they do go ahead and take us over to a unit spotlight, and this is pretty important. So Trajan Valoris. Let's go through this whole stat line here. So 6-inch move, whatever. T6 potentially, and Trajan is a very much a normal guy. He's not wearing Terminator armor, so to me this implies that other custodians are going up a notch as well.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they were not.
That makes sense. They already kind of told us that aggressors were getting +1 toughness. It makes sense that an aggressor's not tougher than Trajan. 2-up save, 7 wounds, 5-up leadership. This is tied for the highest we've seen, and this really implies you just don't get higher than this.
So he's like on par with like Primarchs and stuff.
Yeah, Goleman is 5-up.
Yeah.
You're not getting braver than that.
No.
Objective control 2, a little bit on the low side, but we'll see.
I'm actually surprised by that one.
Yeah, I figured that'd be a little higher. And then we've got his weapons. The Watcher's Axe is a little bit better. It's strength 5, AP 2, damage 3, so just a little bit better than it is right now.
So it gained an AP and a damage, I think?
I'll take it.
Yeah, seems
it's
good.
Also assault.
Wow, yeah.
And then the Watcher's Axe in melee. 6 attacks, hits on 2s, strength 10, AP 2, damage 3.
Wow.
Very in line with what we have now, but still that's a good thing because Trajan kind of bops right now, and I'm glad he does.
He should, yeah.
Now, rules. Deep Strike, just built in, which is kind of nice. I'm then guessing that the units he joins also have it. Feel No Pain 5+, good for him. Leader, he can join units. Great.
So he has to get through the whole brick at Custodian Guard and then kill Trajan.
Yeah, so he can join units. Very unsurprising there. Now, we've got 2 special rules for him, and of course a fort pinball. 2 special rules, both pretty good here. While this model is leading a unit, you can ignore any or all modifiers to the characteristics of models in that unit, and or to any roll or test made for models in that unit. So this is a very fancy way of saying that Trajan bows to none.
Yep.
So he ignores characteristic modifiers other than saves, and he ignores modifiers to rolls, which is presumably could be hit roll, charge roll, damage roll, not save roll, wound roll.
So he ignores, it looks like minus damage and stuff. Possibly?
To any roll.
Roll. Okay,
so and he's flat damage,
yeah.
so I would say he doesn't ignore minus damage, but we haven't even seen any minus damage yet.
That's right. I might have got because Death Guard don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, if Death Guard don't have it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, wow.
Okay. So then going down, we've got the Moment Shackle. And this is pretty interesting.
I like this ability.
Yeah, so I've always loved Moment Shackle, and they've kept it interesting here. So once per battle, at the start of the fight phase, select one of the following to take effect. The Watcher's Axe melee weapon has an attack characteristic of 12. So go from 6 to 12. Trajan, when you do that, he's just going to start chopping.
Trajan does hit hard. Yeah.
Yeah, 12 attacks,
12
damage
attacks, damage 3. Strength 10.
Hit him with the axe, Quinn. Just hit him with the axe. Or this model could have a 2-up invulnerable save.
They're back. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Toughness 6, 7 wounds with a 2-up invulnerable save.
And if I feel the pain.
I'm having 7th edition flashbacks here, John.
Yeah, that is real.
Can you make him invisible and move the trainer on the table too?
No. But 2-up invuln back. Once per battle, only fight phase does help. Because at least he's not getting it like shooting and just tanking an entire army.
Yep.
But that's still really good. You don't tango with Trajan. What I just learned. Then the last one is models in this models unit have the Fights First ability. Now we haven't really seen what Fights First does, but I'm just gonna think really hard and say that it probably makes the unit fights first.
I'm gonna agree with you.
So I guess this is gonna kind of be like a free interrupt, kind of like what he has now.
Yeah,
So
Fights First is a good ability now.
Yeah, so Fights First is pretty good now. We haven't seen any Fights Last effects yet.
Very possibly some there.
But if there's Fights First, decent odds.
We even see like a Judiciar or
like something like that.
Foul Blight Spawn, any of those.
Yeah, so very possible that there's Fights Last abilities as well. We'll see if any of those make it in. But Fights First, probably generically useful. That's just kind of nice to see. So I think Trajan looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, points depending.
We'll see how many modifiers are actually in the game.
That's fair.
But having a unit just ignore modifiers looks
especially since they're Custodes. Like, I know Custodes really don't like -1 to hit because it actually cuts into their efficiency quite a bit.
I'm also thinking of movement ones because like the Barbagant has if it hits a unit in shooting and it's AP dash, it's like not doing damage to this. It's -2 to like move, advance, and charge. And I was kind of joking about like, I'll just take Barbagants and like shoot Death Guard Terminators and they'll move 2 inches.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's horrible. It's horrible.
I feel so bad for them.
But a Custodes unit that ignores movement, advance, charge modifiers, that could end up being pretty useful. Okay. So, so we're done with this with Trajan Valoris.
Yep.
So let's go to the next profile. And the next one we've got is Allarus Custodians. Movement 5. So funny enough, because Allarus weren't slower than the normal guard before, but they lost one there. Toughness 7. Okay, Allarus are thick. That's acceptable. 2 up save. 4 wounds. Leadership 6 up. I'm not that surprised by that. Even
Really?
It's because Necrons are like 7, man. Like,
aren't like better than Space Marines 6 though?
Yeah, Space Marines are 6. So it seems that they don't want armies that are just always passing battle shock.
Yeah. Have we seen anything lower than a 5 or higher than a 8? Termagants are 8.
Termagants
right?
are like 8.
Okay.
A lot of things are 6 and 7. Mm-hmm. It seems that they want people they want failing battle shock to be a thing that can happen to any army. Mm-hmm. And now maybe some armies we've seen have like a reroll battle shock effect, like an aura off like a big named character. Some have some have like 5 up on Trajan. So Trajan's unit's not failing very often, but they seem to want people to fail battle shock. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but I do like T7.
Yes,
I like that a lot. Objective control 2, a little bit lower than I would have guessed. I honestly would have like looked at that and said, probably 3.
I would have expected 3 or 4.
But I guess what we're looking at here is that we saw that they made troops like objective control 2. Like I think they showed us like the generic intercept, like the Termagon. I think they showed us, and it's objective control 2. So it seems like the things that used to be troops are getting objective control 2. And then we know that a Terminator is objective control 1. And I guess they're just looking at it like, well, Custodes used to be double models, so a non-troop guy is just going to be objective control 2. Maybe a Custodes troop will be 3 or 4. Okay. Something like that. And that would make sense. Yeah. But 2, it's on the lower end of what I could have seen. Now, weapons, the ballistic grenade launcher is about what it was before, which is still pretty decent. Just 1 less AP. Castellan Axe, okay. Oh, no, the Castellan's Axe and the Guardian Spear, all the same shooting. No, they were strength 4.
Strength 4 before?
They're a little better, because they used to be rapid fire.
Right.
Now they're just 2 shots, and they're assault. Okay. So it's slightly better, and they didn't lose AP, so that's actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Now, melee, this is where we get interesting. The Castellan Axe is 4 attacks hitting on 3s. I don't like a Custodes hitting on 3s. I'm going to be honest.
I don't like that either. Wow.
Strength 9, AP 1. That's a little low. Okay. But damage 3.
Damage 3 is good.
Damage 3 is good. I feel like I'd rather have the Guardian Spear. Have an extra attack. Weapon skill 2. So only strength 7, not 9. Yep. But AP 2, damage 2.
Ooh.
I don't mind that, but
I want to see where the rest of the profiles in the game break down.
Yeah, I think this is like, it looks worse, but then like everything has looked a little worse so far, especially AP-wise.
Did they reveal what an armature looks like
in combat?
In either of the night previews?
They showed us the Warglaive in the Imperial Knight.
Do we know what its toughness is?
It's toughness 10.
Okay, so both these are doing like an armature on 5s.
Yeah, either way you're wounding like an armature-sized vehicle on 5s.
Okay.
To me, that means the Guardian Spear is better because of an ability we're going to talk about in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
And then a Misericordia is 5 attacks, but it's not additional attacks, so you don't want the Misericordia if you can choose one of these two.
Yeah, I mean, it is... No, that's just worse in every way.
It's just, there's no universe where you're swinging the Misericordia if you have one of the other two. But there's a reason why you would want a Misericordia, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay. So, Slayer of Tyrants. Good. This is a good rule. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets a character, monster, or vehicle unit, you can reroll the wound roll. So, initial thought reading these weapons, as you said, was, wow, both of these wound an armature on 5s. That doesn't make me confident in a generic Custodian's ability to just kill that in combat. But rerolling wounds will significantly change the math on that. Yes. That's where I'm okay with strength 7, because if you're high toughness, you're probably a character, monster, or vehicle, and just screw it, I'll reroll the wounds.
And as we saw earlier, they can get lethal hits or sustained hits, and then you start to get to the point where you probably
it starts to add up.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is useful, and especially targets a character, monster, or vehicle unit. So presumably, we know that characters can join units. We don't know how all of this will interact in fine detail.
Yes.
But presumably a unit of 5 intercessors with a captain is a character unit. So, reroll wounds.
That seems good.
I feel like a lot of people are going to have characters attached to their units. Because most characters, other than like lone operatives like Gulliman, most of them aren't auras. Most of them are like the ones that we've seen, like a lieutenant is just my unit gets to do its thing. So, okay, so if you just reroll wounds against those units, that actually makes the shooting pretty good at killing intercessors.
It does, yeah, actually. Wow, yeah.
Next ability here is from Golden Light. Once per battle at the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit's not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, remove it from the battlefield, and then in the reinforcement step of your next movement phase, so basically right away, set up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away horizontally from all enemy models.
So you know what this sounds like to me, John? When you take the gambit, you pick them up and you drop them down, and then you roll boxcars and you win the tournament.
The gambit. I don't like that. Oh, the gambits. Yeah, this is that could be that. Yeah, I don't mind this. This looks like pretty useful. So we've seen this is a mission play thing, right?
Yes.
Because you're probably not doing this just to declare a 9-inch YOLO charge. Now, sometimes you need to, and when you need it, pop off. But this in general, this is probably for mission play. We'll see if Allarus still come in 1-mans. Because right now you can just take a 1-man.
Because if it 1-man, that can just go.
Yeah, if you just have like 3 1-mans, that can just be like boop, 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 boop.
That sounds really good.
That could be really useful.
Yeah.
We don't know all the mission rules, but we know that there's a random like card deck element to it, which means there's probably a ton of options.
Maelstrom,
and so
like
just
that.
being able to just be like, screw it, I'm just gonna put them into reserves. All right, let me draw some cards. I need to be in your deployment zone. Boop, there we go. That could be useful. So from Golden Light looks pretty nice. Pity it's once per battle, but honestly, this couldn't be every turn, or that would just be too much.
Yeah, that'd be
too much.
Yeah.
So pretty good. And the last note here is very interesting. War Gear abilities, Vexilla.
Ooh.
So it appears that the Vexilla is a
dude
model
that you
in the
take-
unit,
yeah, okay.
not a character.
I wonder, because
Not
you can
something you
take a
join.
Vexilla with a Vexilla and a shield, right? That's an option?
That's an option in the normal dudes.
Okay.
In the Custodes, the Allarus custodians, it's a Vexilla and a Misericordia. And that's
see.
why you would want to have one.
Ooh, that poor man. Why can't he just pick up the spear? He just drops it on the way?
It's the wrong hand.
Oh,
No joke, it's just the wrong hand in the kit.
that's
So sad. I know,
That's
right?
so sad.
Just all of the Allarus have to be right-handed, and they just made the Vexilla also right-handed. So that's it.
Wow.
She gets a knife.
That,
Yeah, it hurts, doesn't it?
but +1 OC is good, so OC2.
Yeah,
OC3.
+1, going from 2 to 3 is the point
Yeah.
where we start to actually be like, all right. And now, how many points is the Vexilla going to be?
Who knows?
Who knows? But if just every squad can just take a Vexilla, and they go to OC3, and if it's not that expensive, you probably just do it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now if we get to OC3, by virtue of buying a Vexilla, a little interesting.
Because then you can put 2 guys on a point, and then you outnumber a 5-man
A
squad.
5-man
or
of
something.
like an elite unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 guys at OC6. And yeah, we'll see. So, okay. Pretty interested in the Allarus. Now, they give us a third data sheet here. We're spoiled.
Like
These
that
are
than everyone
prosecutors, which is just the generic Sisters of Silence. Exactly what you'd expect. Move 6, actually 1 slower. T3, 3 up, 1 wound, 6 up leadership,
Oh,
objective
2.
control 2. So I would actually have guessed they were 1.
I also would have guessed that one.
Everyone's OC2 here.
Okay.
So that's interesting. Bolt gun, rapid fire 1. This is the exact same bolt gun we've seen elsewhere. Close combo weapon, exactly what you'd think. 2 special rules. Feel no pain, 3+ ability against psychic attacks.
That seems good.
Okay, so they're not immune to psychic attacks, but it seems like shooting them with psychic attacks is going to take significantly longer than otherwise.
I wonder what
Fair
a
enough.
Colexus Assassin does. I wonder if it's a similar rule to this.
That would be nice.
That would
Just
be cool. Yeah.
blanket them. Honestly, the collector should be an aura of feel no pain against psychic attacks.
Yeah, he should be. I hope he is.
I hope he is. So, and then here's an actual special rule that is useful. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets a psyker unit, that attack has the precision and devastating wounds abilities. They haven't literally told us what precision is, but I'm going to guess that you use it for sniping.
I'm going to agree with you.
That feels like a sniping thing.
Yeah.
So, devastating wounds we know is a 6-2 wound is a mortal wound, and is mortal wound equal to damage? But this just makes a range attack. So if you're just shooting bolt guns at a unit, like again 5 intercessor with librarian, you can just be like, oh, precision, I'm probably just shooting the librarian. Devastating wounds, a couple 6s, here's some mortals.
That's 2 or 3 units of these things, you could kill it.
Yeah, you just
random psychic
just kill it, or like if one of them's wounded, like we know the weird boy can randomly do mortals to himself. Well, then,
assume maybe that's like
if he's
a new
wounded,
herald
just
or
like
something
finish
like
it.
that.
You probably roll a 1, be sad. So okay, interesting for prosecutors. Kind of interesting, not that much to draw from yet. And then they do show us the Executioner Great Blade that the generic, the other Sister of Silence. I don't remember, not Witch Seekers. I don't remember which one this is.
Oh, I have no idea.
But the Executioner Great Blade is 2 attacks,
Ballistic
skill 3. I'm going to guess that's weapon skill. Strength 5, AP 2 damage 2, Anti-Psyker 4+, Devastating Wound. So Anti-Psyker 4+, means that if you're wounding it on a 4+, you count as a critical wound.
Which is those mortals.
And then Devastating Wounds, it's 2 mortals. So if you hit a Psyker, every 4+ is 2 mortals.
So I really, really want to know, what's the rules interaction if you have a Psyker in a unit?
Yeah.
Can these girls just walk up and be like, here's 10 mortal wounds?
This is clearly very good at killing a Lord of Change. Is it good at killing 5 Intercessors with Librarian?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I would like to find out. James.
Let us know.
Tell
Next
me,
preview.
Please. Yeah, work this into the orc preview. All right, so that's it for the profiles they're showing us. They do sneak 1 stratagem in here as well. Vigil Unending. This is nice. In your command phase, pick an Adeptus Custodes infantry unit that's not Anathema Psychana. Okay, so an actual custodian. That's fine. That's who I want to use it on. And 1 destroyed model is returned to your unit with its full wounds remaining, excluding characters.
So this is the call an ambulance, but not for me stratagem?
Yeah, just 1 CP, res a Terminator, like, surprise.
Res it forward.
Yeah, why not? Res it onto an objective, get that OC up a little bit. Like, what are we doing here? Let's get that Vexla back
It's
to
in your
life.
command phase too, so...
That's pretty good.
We don't know when scoring is, but if we assume it's at a similar point...
If we assume it's the same time... you cannot target the same unit with this stratagem more than once per battle. Still...
Seems good.
Just 1 CP when you need an extra dude. If you have a CP floating, this is a good way to spend it. Especially since we saw that some of these Terminators look a little tougher. T7 is nice.
T7's
So
high.
good strat here. And I think this is the extent of the rules. Yeah, so the only thing that they really say here is that many Adeptus Custodes units have 2 abilities as a result instead of 1, but the second being a once per battle. So we saw that with the Terminators. It seems they're going to carry that design philosophy forward with a lot more Custodes units. That's interesting. I don't mind that at all. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And that appears to be the end of the rules. Now, they do say that tomorrow's preview is going to be orcs. So I'm sure we're going to get Nick Nadavati or someone in here to talk about orcs.
It'll be exciting.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's Custodes. Overall, there's a lot that remains unseen. Like points for Custodes are everything.
Who knows?
Kind of like Knights.
Yes.
We're like,
I
after
want
the
to see
cast,
if they kept the transhuman no reroll stratagems. Right. Those are big.
Yeah, that would be. There we go. That would be big. Yeah, we don't know what else is coming for them, but in general, this reminds me of Chaos Knights, where I looked at it, I was like, nodding my head, I'm like, okay, there's some things to be excited about here. Really need to see more.
Yes.
Because like we can kind of like look at like Space Marines and be like, yeah, I think I know how many Space Marines are on the table.
Yeah, it makes
Custodes
sense.
and Knights, I'm like, I don't know how much is going to be here.
Is it 10 or 10,000?
The Legion of 10,000?
Could you imagine if they like misprint the Custodes cost and they're like 2 points a model?
It's not do that. I wouldn't play that. Yeah, is there going to be a Tanglefoot? Hopefully.
Who knows?
Yeah, so overall, pretty optimistic here. Trajan looks like a boss.
Yeah, he looks awesome. He's also so cool.
Trajan's a baddie.
Lion pelt.
He does have. I like Trajan a lot. I'm excited to see a Trajan on the table anytime I do. And then the Allarus Custodians points pending look pretty interesting. I like pick up and teleports. Yeah. I like that a lot. I like T7. I like healing models.
One thing it means like a lot of the small arms fire just like isn't going to cut it into Custodes anymore.
Yeah, that's honestly good. Like, because like they've shown us like heavy bolters are strength 5.
Yep. Scatter lasers went down to strength 5.
So okay, wound him worse. Yeah, heavy bolter wounds Trajan on a 5-up. Good. Just pop that 2-up in 1 combat to tank everything. All right, well I think that really closes us out here. So thank you so much everyone who tuned in to watch this preview. We really appreciate it. We'll be live tomorrow morning talking about the orcs. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.